you raise $1, if you raise $5,000, or if you raise millions of dollars, no matter the time, the duration, when you do it, who you are, or where you live, you are all part of the same team, because the competition is not between us. The competition is between the people that are suffering and how much money we can raise.
Chat, y'all are some nerds. I'm about to stream chess, but you're talking about doing 750 gig worth of mods for Skyrim? Y'all, are you good, dude? Are you good? No chess intro, chat. No. No, I actually, I need to go get water. I got a little sinus congestion I got to get out of the way. Tonight's going to be a little different than what we've done in the past. Wait, really, Chess? Yes. So there is a tournament coming up that Twitch does called Pogchamps, where they take a bunch of content creators and have us all play chess against each other through chess.com. And I'm one of the people. So, yeah, it's... I want to get some practice time in because I have access to some very good players because of this. Yeah, do you have your vibrating anal beads to cheat the system? I do. No, I do. I got 2 sets in right now. Yeah. Wait, this says Balatro main theme 10 hours. Hold on. Yeah, cool. 10 hours is gonna be enough. Good. I want to play this one. No, but my coach is Danny Wrench, so he is going to be jumping on stream with us here in a little bit. It's going to be, yeah. Any Discord mod on? I can't see in the channels. Johnny Viral, you got to be a member on YouTube or a sub on Twitch. Yeah, 2 sets of the vibrating anal beads. At least that's the plan. That's the plan, is run 2 sets. So we're going to... let's see here. I need like a specific layout just for this because it's not gonna fit right. That's too small, dude. So let me duplicate this. We're gonna do that, and then if I make this bigger here, it's gonna make it bigger everywhere, I think. Damn. Might not be able to do it the way I want to. Ooh, actually, what if we do this? Here, hold on. I got an idea, chat. I got an idea. I want to make it look nice for you. This is important, because I know you thrive on that, okay? I know you thrive on that. I know what you like. Here. Chat, look at that, dude. And then we're going to hide that entire webcam group. And then we're going to add a video capture device. And that'll keep you all entertained. That'll keep you very, very entertained. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. We're going to go like this. We're going to pop it down below. Right? And now you have shiny thing on screen to distract you. I have a shiny thing to distract you. That's good. That's good. It looks good. Holy, you call us nerds? Yeah, you are fucking nerds, dude. Now, I am going to quickly go get some... So there's a gap at the top? There's not. It would only be from the actual... Like, from that. You want me to get that exactly right so you're not gonna freak out, little guy? There. Is that better for you? There you go. Ta-da. Now it's good. Hey, there is a chat. If you see Daniel Wrench, that is the man, the myth, the legend. I'm gonna grab him real quick in Discord. Yo, there he is. Okay, let me grab a window capture from over here and get that set up so that you're on screen, and then you can proceed to criticize my terrible play. As I told you earlier, we'll see. I should be okay. I think maybe. All right.
Hey, there's no not okay. It's all good.
Chad, he's already doing the thing where he tries to make me feel better about myself. I appreciate you.
Hey, that's what a coach does, you know.
I'm calling it Danny Cam. I'm sticking you over here. Let's see.
Do it. Do the Danny Cam. I should probably throw on some headphones here. 1 second. Make your audio a little
cleaner. I appreciate you. I am gonna have
I got your stream up, but
to say, how do you want me to get you my game, the screen?
I can.
Do you want it through stream or do you want it through Discord? I could do either.
I can see it on the stream if there's no delay, or I can.
There should be extremely little delay, genuinely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Twitch. It should be totally fine.
Yeah, it might be. I'm watching you on Twitch over here. It might be easier just to do that. That way you don't have to screen share on Discord. But
okay.
But you can do that too if you want.
Gonna slide this down so you're.
And I love that sexy DrLupo graphic.
Yeah, you like that?
I gotta get me one of them. You know, I love that.
Yeah, my editor did good work when it came to building assets and stuff, and that's definitely one of them that I appreciate him putting together. Anytime I need anything, it's like, hey, can you build this random thing for me? He's like, yeah, I got you. That's fine. There you go. Okay, chat. Everybody say hi to Danny.
What's up, chat? I'm watching your chat right now. Shout out to the chess nerds. And shout out to the comment already made behind me that the reason the chess pieces won't stay on that board is because it's right side up. That is super. Thank you for that observation. I appreciate it.
My chat is extremely smart. I swear that's not sarcasm at all. Not even a little bit, dude. That's real. I'm gonna go grab water real quick. If you would like to talk to chat for a minute, you're in charge. Okay.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
Chat, I'll be right back. Be nice to Danny while I'm gone.
I love how he uses the dad tone when he's like, be nice to Danny. Like, don't be mean to the guests, everybody. What's up, Woost you? I already like you. What's up, Michael B? Michael, what is that? 5B41? I'm good at reading numbers. Chat is called magnets. I should probably go post a tweet or something that we're live, right? There we go. I'm streaming with DrLupo. Maybe I'll throw a link out because that's what the cool kids do, right? They go, hey, here's a link. There you go. Crazy Coffee Man already gifted me that sub. I appreciate it. Not sure how many people are on chess.com these days. Oh my gosh, I got sunburned today. So I was out with my boys playing golf, and I'm looking at my face right here, and it is like, this is red. So I hope that everyone appreciates the sunburn. Danny and DrLupo stream unlocked. This is like a dream I had once, actually. I gotta tell him this story. I think I already have told him that, but somebody once gave me the biggest compliment. They're like, Danny is the DrLupo of chess. That's what they said back when I used to stream. That was a long time ago. Danny, I'm a 200. Can I make GM one day? Probably not. And I don't mean that to hurt your feelings, but that is the reality of how hard it is to become a grandmaster in chess.
Did the guy in my chat ask how hard it would be for him to go from 200 to GM? Yeah. Crown, listen, don't quit your day job, bro. It's okay. I'm not gonna either. It's fine.
So I'm having fun with your chat. Did I tell you? So I don't know if anyone told you this story, but one of the biggest compliments I ever got was that they said, Danny, you're like the DrLupo of chess.
There's no way you've actually heard that, really?
I have heard that. That actually was told, because I think it was a bit of the dad vibes, a bit of like
100%.
the awkward joke vibes. I think you and I both have some of that going on at times.
I don't make any awkward jokes, chat. What is it? What the fuck is this guy talking about? What
is he talking about? So I wanted to share that with you, because whatever chess we get into, when I heard you were playing Pogchamps, I'm like, I have got to do a stream with DrLupo.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we're here.
They literally Loaded was like, yeah, here's the list of coaches you can pick from, but Danny really wants to be your coach. And I was like, you know what? F it. Let's go. Sure, I'm in.
You're like, I don't know who that guy is. He doesn't have a stream following, but okay, if he's got nothing better to do than hang out with me at 7:40 on a Saturday night, let's go.
Okay, I do want to address that. I'm sorry about my schedule, dude. It's tough to get everything.
What is your deal? You were streaming earlier today too, though, but you're just grinding.
Yeah, so I do 6 days a week, usually 6 to 8 hours during the day, and then depending on what's going on, like with, 'cause I play a lot of Tarkov right now. I was Fortnite guy for a bit, but Tarkov now. Yeah. And if there's like an event going on or something, or I just like really want to play, or like my wife is busy, basically once my kid goes to bed, there's multiple nights a week I'll end up streaming in the evenings too until about 11. And so it's like I've always put in a crap ton of time because I love gaming, and my chat is okay sometimes. You guys kind of suck, but it's all right because like same though, so it's fine. And yeah, so that. I'm sorry about trying to find like an exact time.
Zero sorry. So I just took my daughters and their friend to see the Minecraft movie.
What'd you think?
It was actually hilarious. I had a great time. I've heard some horrible reviews, but those are mostly from I think teenagers and young people who want to be cool. But like the Jason Momoa, Jack Black dialogue, I was cracking up. I was like that awkward dad in the theater who was just laughing out loud while my daughters looked at me. It was hilarious.
Okay, I can see how people think we're very similar then. So a couple things about that. Did you know that? And then don't worry, chat. We'll get into the game that has not been patched in hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the developers are kind of fallen off because of that. We have to talk about that. But so Jason Momoa and Jack Black, when they do interviews, Jason Momoa knits. He knits religiously, and he made these sweaters for him and Jack Black for each interview. You should look it up. They're hilarious. And so those two are you could tell that they're just there to have fun with it and just enjoy it. And apparently, the scene where Jack Black is riding Jason Momoa?
Yeah.
They thought of that on the spot, because they were like, for this scene we need to do something. What do we do? And they just wrote that real quick and were like, yeah, we'll just ride on each other and then flip around. It was wild that was like
the amount of awkward moments that they create is, I'm literally LOLing in the theater at this scene. I am just dying. And not to say that other people weren't having a good time too, but I love that. And so thank you for that story. I didn't know that he knitted them a sweater too. That's hilarious.
And if you keep track of the interviews, the sweaters change over time. So he's knitted multiple sweaters while they're doing their press tours and stuff for it. The movie's great. I fully see why people were so entertained by it. I thought it was hilarious. My son gave it a 10 out of 10 and he's 9. So very difficult to impress, right?
Okay.
He absolutely loved it.
So how many kids you have?
Just the one.
Oh, you just have one. So just the 9-year-old. All right. Well, I got you beat there. I got 4 kids. So
good Lord, man.
Yeah, good Lord. It's a long story. But 4 kids too long of a story. I guess that's what we'll leave it at. But anyway, man, so I'm excited that you're playing Pogchamps. I've been a big fan of you since chess accidentally got into the streaming world years ago. And, funny story, the way Pogchamps came about. I'm going to tell this dad story and then we'll move on. I promise, Chad. Let me, I'm old. Let me tell the story. Come on, calm down. The original idea at the time when Fortnite was popping off and Ninja had done this Drake stream and you guys were all playing Fortnite, and I'm sitting over there with the job of growing chess and trying to figure out ways for the chess category to earn its way into the Twitch vibes. And I was like, let's do a tournament for Fortnite players only, like a chess tournament, but only Fortnite players, because Fortnite was the biggest thing.
I think I remember when that happened.
Okay, and so the idea of doing this was like January 2020.
Okay.
So it was a total flop. Hardly anybody played. We got a couple of smaller Fortnite streamers because none of you guys would accept our invitation. Obviously, I wouldn't have if I was you guys either. I played in it myself, and I literally couldn't play Fortnite to the point where I couldn't do any. I was so bad. So the whole thing was a total flop. And then, of course, this small thing happened around March that changed the universe forever. The multiverse shifted, and all of us were put on the COVID timeline, which is where we've all been since. And then at the time, obviously, with chess and streaming and the whole boom that was happening, we gave it another go. But this time, we didn't focus on Fortnite only. We said, hey, any streamer, and that kind of gave birth to the variety stream that became the initial XQC, Ludwig, everyone who played in the first Pogchamps, and then it was kind of born out of that. So anyway, but there you go. Fun little story.
If you asked Tim the Tan Man, he probably thought you were talking about checkers and still passed. It's probably too difficult.
Yeah,
so
that's probably what happened. So, but no, it was born out of a total failure, but an idea, and then it became what it is now. So anyway, now you're gonna play in Pogchamps. I don't know how you're gonna do. Honestly, you're probably gonna get killed. I'm gonna say it right now because Wolfie is like grinding. There's a lot of people who are really going at it. So I don't know what can I do to help you, sir. In a real way, I would love to help you have a good chess tournament.
One of the things that I find myself, one of the pitfalls I find myself in, because so chess right now is like I'm flying to an event or flying home. I pull it up on my phone because I bought Wi-Fi, and I'm like, I'm gonna dick around. So in my time doing that, when I'm half paying attention, I'm like 500-ish. When I was really trying to focus, I think I got up to like 700, 800, something like that. So what's funny is when I go against other human players, I don't do nearly as well. When I go against if I like play against the computer, they have like the different tiers of bots. I can beat the I can beat the 1500s. Like I can play and beat those. And I don't know why there's a difference. I think the thing that ends up happening when I play against humans is I leave myself open. There's just shit that I miss. I fall for traps way too often, and I think that's a thing that maybe some practice on keeping an eye on wouldn't be bad. That might be the thing that I need help with.
Okay, and then I'm taking this in. I'm like a doctor listening to you self-diagnose here, and I'm gonna come up with a recipe here, a prescription in a second. But let me ask this: when you play, do you have a consistent opening you try to use as white or as black before I dive in?
I do kind of start the same way each time. I don't know the names of the openings.
Okay.
I can show you.
Show me.
Okay.
What? So you've got the big board here, but are you already in like the play server, or do you want to analyze it all?
So I went to I pulled up the site and just went straight to like I clicked on the play button. So I could start it. I could play a game if you want to watch it. I could.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And what's your username if you don't? I mean, everyone here know your username? Is that secret?
It's LUP_OmegaLol.
Okay.
It's Lupo, but
I'm going to send you a friend request just so I can watch. Actually, I'll just go ahead and start a game, and I'll just go in and watch you.
Okay.
And I'm going to LUP_OmegaLol. LOL is an LOL or LUL?
LUL.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have the Tim and Ninja merge avatar too. If you look for that, that's me.
Hey, this is phenomenal, by the way. So you almost played D4. The Scotch is my opening. Like, this is meant to be.
Really? Okay.
So you're playing. Okay, but keep doing what you're doing. So this E4, this is great. If you had played D4 like you almost did, that's the Scotch game, and that's my jam.
It's funny because that's literally. I know there's a little bit of delay, but that's the follow up. So in a situation like this, I'm okay trading.
This is
just to test to see if he's willing to he's willing to drop a knight, which I'm okay with. Although he has advantage now because that guy was still exposed, which kind of sucks.
I love what you're doing right now.
We need to get him.
We're gonna analyze this game here in a second.
Gotta get him out of the way, and I don't want him to jump over to that side. We'll see.
But this is a great profile pick.
Thank you very much.
That is a phenomenal profile book. I just sent you a friend request. At some point you'll see it, but right now I'm gonna go watch you.
Let's cover it. That's gonna be
okay. I like how we started. What was this time control here? Let me take a peek. So we had 10 minutes aside. Okay, the most common time control. Look at you going after that pin night.
Is that what the timer for Pogchamps is going to be?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
So Pogchamps is going to be actually 10 minutes with an increment. You ever played with an increment?
I have not.
So increment is every move you'll get a little bit of time added back to the clock. So it's like a bonus time with every move. And the reason we do that is because if you get into a time scramble, we have a lot of players who are newer to the game, so we don't want people to panic and lose on time. So you can still lose on time, don't get me wrong,
yeah.
And you can still try to flag someone, but it just gives you a little bit of time with every move so that if it comes down to the chess, you have a chance to do it. So I'm loving what I'm seeing here. As long as we got the right move here.
Yeah, so don't
I mean, I know that I didn't mean for that to come out.
No, it's okay. Which means you probably see it already.
As long as you do the right thing here, son, I'm still proud of you. So
I mean, at this point, I think there's no reason to not just take the knight.
I love it. That was it, by the way. That was it. That was the
feet up,
whatever it is.
Move out.
Uh-oh. We'll see.
You say uh-oh. You got Danny, you got me nervous now.
I had to say uh-oh.
Don't say uh-oh. I don't want to hear uh-oh.
Well, we're gonna go over it after no matter what. We're gonna learn some stuff. But this so typically opening up the center with your king and queen lined up on the same, anytime you have king and queen on the same straight line. So in chess, that's a file or a diagonal or a rank. So in that position, black could have moved their rook to attack your queen, and your queen would have been pinned to your king on e1. So you got to fix that problem now.
Gotcha. Okay, so the queen's got to move off. Don't keep them in line ever.
Yeah, well, especially not with open lines, right? If they can be on the same line or next to each other, as long as the position is closed, as they say. But once you start opening it up, that's danger zone. That's where bad tactics happen.
Okay.
All right, I'm trying to get us ready here.
That's because I see where I want to go after this, but I don't know if it's the right answer.
Just do you ignore me right now?
It's very difficult to ignore you, Danny. You're very good at chess.
I know it's hard when someone's watching at the same time. I get it. I'm over here just getting our analysis set up. Everything's gonna be great, so you don't even need to.
So okay, so let me ask you a question. Can I break the line just by moving the bishop? And is that okay?
That's genius.
Okay.
That's not okay. That's genius.
That's immediately my thought is get somebody else in line, because then the queen is not pinned there. She can move.
Dude, this is so already when you just said that you were able to beat the 1,500 bots and you're maintaining about 700, that's actually a really good sign, because it means something is wrong there in terms of, like you said, your ability, your ceiling is clearly higher than where you are maybe playing a lot of the time. So that's a really good sign for our Pogchamps chances. And I'm going to give you some sort of mental checklist through this lesson, along with the opening advice that I think might limit the blunders. So first I'm going to let you deal with this queen problem here, because I don't want to distract you too much. You're down a couple minutes on time. Look at you though. You're doing great. You're doing great. This is epic.
She is up in my shit now.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like her being up there right now. If I take there, that's not exposed. Never mind. Can't take.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So how much? All right. So when does the tournament start? The tournament starts next week. You got some time to get yourself sharp. And by the way, don't be intimidated by Wolfie or anyone. Like, I'm letting you know, like, you got this, as long as, you know, a little bit of, not that you're, you know, in Pogchamps with a winner go home mentality, although maybe you are. Like, maybe you're like, you entered to win. I don't know what your chess mindset is at right now.
Pardon me, Danny, but I'm not here to fuck around.
Yeah, okay, good. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, that sucks. I just gave him that pawn. Stupid.
Yeah, but it's all right. It's all right, because you're up a piece. So as long as you start coordinating your pieces, when you're up a piece, it's good to trade.
There you go.
Yeah. Look at you, dropping the fork. Oh my God. I turned away for 2 seconds to get our analysis board ready, and you just crushed it. Okay, so hold on a second. He resigned.
Do you want me to give you the move? I can show more of the screen. Do you need to see more? Do you need to see the right side too?
Well,
like
no,
where it's got the move list and stuff?
I need you to be able to see my screen now, so hold on a second. So go to your friends real quick, if you don't mind, and accept my friend request.
Let's see here. There you are right there. Boom, got it.
Yeah, if you just, okay. So I'm gonna throw you a link.
Okay.
Actually, I guess I can just give this to you on Discord too.
Yeah, you can send it there.
One second. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw you this link. So let's see what happens when you come here.
Okay.
There you are. Okay. So I'm going to wait for it to be shown up on your screen. If it looks like it is, so you just say, let's go. So this is actually super easy. So when I go through the game and I do something like, and I do like this, and I right click and draw on the arrows just to see if you, I'm looking at the stream right now to make sure it's, okay, look at that. So look at it. We're about to have an awesome lesson. So here's what we're going to do for the rest of our time. You're going to play a game. I'm going to watch. I'm going to try not to judge. In fact, what I'll do is I'll keep chat entertained while you play, because two things I want to do there. One, I don't want to cheat. I don't want to actually give you advice while you're playing. Like, we're going to keep this legit. I mean, maybe sometimes I'll say some general things as a coach would, but I'm not going to give you any specific moves. And I'll get to know chat. This will be amazing. And then when the game's done, I'll make us a little analysis board and I'll invite you so we can go over it. So first of all, the fact that you play this opening consistently is really, really good. Don't worry about any of the crap where people are like, oh, you got to like change your openings based on who you play. That's all bullshit. Okay. The best players play the same thing they play, and they don't care if someone's prepared, because the best players, they expect their opponent to play the best move and they're going to beat them anyway. That's the right mindset. So we're not going to change. We're going to stick with this opening. And I love what you did with knight f3, knight c6. Now, d4 is the mainline scotch. This is what I play, and it's slightly more aggressive in that you're immediately opening the center, and if you can, you'll develop quickly and get castled and potentially some more aggressive stuff. But before I even try to give you any new advice, do you always play c3? Like, is this a consistent weapon you've already been using?
I've been doing that to keep that other pawn protected. So when I move pawn to d4, like
so
that,
you can take with the pawn.
Exactly.
Okay.
Is that not efficient enough?
Good. It is good. So the pro of c3, as you said, is that you're preparing to get a big center after the trade, which can be phenomenal if you end up with both pawns. The con is kind of what you've experienced in the game, which is the pawn on c3 takes away the developing square for the knight, which means after knight f6, you're already dealing with immediate pressure here. Now, it worked out in the game because after what happened, I'm just going to go ahead real quick, you pinned the knight and then ultimately won the piece. But what I want to show is that in this position, probably the best thing to do instead of taking with the knight is a fun trick we're going to learn. So this opening you're playing is good, but after they take, instead of taking back and running into this line, you actually want to take advantage of the fact that they took in the center and play e5 first. And this is an amazing move because it attacks the knight.
Okay.
Now it's like an intermezzo, as we call in chess, in-between move, meaning the obvious move is a recapture, either pawn or knight, but the in-between move is this attacking move. And no matter what they do, if they move the knight or even if they try to pin the pawn, next move you take back, and you've got just this incredibly awesome big center. You can develop really easily here. Nice bishop on a diagonal, get castled.
Gotcha. Okay.
You're in an amazing position. So here's the trick. I would say one of the things I try to avoid when I'm giving a lesson is I don't want to give specific moves without a why, because you are more likely to understand and remember the concept than you are to remember the moves themselves, because chess is freaking insane, and there's so many different openings and variations, and it's super easy to get mixed up. But if we break it down from like a pattern perspective, so what's the pattern? The pattern is in king pawns games, when the center opens up early, you have to value tempo moves, meaning moves that attack. A tempo move is anytime you attack a greater value piece with a lesser value piece.
Yep.
And because king pawn games tend to become open much faster than, let's say, other openings, you have to value tempo moves over like obvious moves. And so that's one way that you'll remember this idea of e5 is you kind of value the whole point of attacking your opponent more than you do just doing like traditional development. And so in this game, you took back, and after takes, they actually could have met queen e2 with queen e7. Oops, I'm my mouse slipped. And this would have just been up a pawn for them. So they stole that
at
pawn.
that point. I see what you're saying, because there's no I can't take, because then they'll retake and I'm screwed at that point.
Yeah.
And right here it becomes okay. Let's say I find myself in a position like this. What's the way out?
So here you're down a pawn because of what happened on e4. The simplest thing to do is to probably just accept that, because the game isn't over, right? I mean, it's one pawn. So, you could. The other problem with a queen on a square like this is if it doesn't work out like it did in the game, where you ultimately won the knight. The queen in front of the minor pieces, I used to tell little kids, is like the old lady who swallowed the fly. The queen, she blocks the bishop, and the bishop, she blocks the rook, which means you can't get castled, which means your king is stuck in the center.
I made a wall with my queen.
Yeah, exactly. So the queen is the queen in front of a minor piece, which is the bishops or the knights, is like the old lady who swallowed the fly. One bad thing just leads to another. Okay. And so this is typically something you want to avoid in early games. But again, it worked out, and I don't begrudge this move at all. Ultimately, it's the right thing to do when your opponent has given you a chance to pin a piece. But if they had understood this, then probably the best thing to do is to attack anyway. But what you're going to end up getting is just an endgame where black is up a pawn, they have 4, and you have 3. And that's okay. But again, if this happened, I would just say just play on. There's a very good chance you end up beating this person anyway, because a pawn is not a material deficit really at this level. But I want to go back to this because I always say the two most important things in any chess game, and if you're using like our game review or anything you're doing, the main 2 things that you should try to do on your own is establish the first mistake and the last mistake. And why is that? Because chess is hard. You're going to have a million games where you just probably don't take the time to really learn everything that could have gone better in that game, because there were dozens of moves. But the first mistake is what I like to call the stepping stone. It's the pillar of how you get better, because that's the position you are most likely to get again. Why? Because as long as you're not being a total idiot and playing different openings every day you play, you're going to play the same opening, which means you're going to get the same type of position. So if you make an effort to at least understand, where did I first go wrong? That is like literally from that perspective, like we suddenly get a mindset where we're never losing if we're learning, because every game you get one move better in remembering or learning what the opening theory would be. And if you didn't have a coach here, you can learn that just by like, you just do game review, or you turn on the computer and the computer will show you the first time you made a move where like the evaluation went bad, right?
Okay.
So always make an effort to establish the first mistake, because that is the position you will get again. And you at least need to take the time to know, how can I immediately get better the next time I play this opening? The second mistake you should always learn is your last mistake, because if you lose, whatever that blunder was in theory, that was the move that lost you the game. And if you make an effort to learn that, yes, in theory, a grandmaster would say Danny's advice is stupid. You should learn every mistake you make, but we're not fucking grandmasters here. We're doing the best we can, right? And so
we're grinding dirt league, Danny. Let's go.
We're doing the best we can. So I would say your first mistake in this game was actually a missed opportunity. It was just not playing E5.
Okay.
And that's a good pattern to remember, is that in King Pawns games, if we're going to play sharp openings like this, where we try to open the center early, value tempo moves over obvious moves. Make an effort to look for ways to attack minor pieces and to make aggressive moves. Remember, a tempo move is any move where a lesser valued piece attacks a greater valued piece. So pawn attacking a knight or bishop, a knight or a minor piece attacking a queen or a rook. Aggressive tempo moves really pay off. So that was your first missed opportunity. Second mistake we'll note is that in theory, it's not great to do the old lady who swallowed the fly, but here it actually worked out. And I would say even if you had this position again, you would do it again, because even if they played the best move, that was kind of your best chance, given that you already lost that pawn.
I think conceptually, though, I can see what you're saying by the queen being a block. I created a wall for myself against bishop, preventing the castle. There was just a lot going on that was being stopped by moving the queen to where I ended up putting her.
Yeah. Yeah, so the other way to say is like, all right, well, you already made the mistake of losing the pawn. So another move, instead of, making the wall with the queen and the old lady who swallowed the fly, would be just develop with the bishop and let them defend it, but get castled. Because open center games, which again are double king pawn games where you play openings like this, the Scotch, like I play, or what you play here is, I don't even know exactly what the opening is. It's the Ponziani. Yeah, never mind. Chess has so many crazy names, but the Ponziani is a type of like open king pawn game. Anytime you're doing this, getting the king out of the center, getting the rook on the open line, which by definition is almost always there because you've already blown open the center, these things will consistently pay off. Even if it's not, the exact theory that Magnus Carlsen would play, it's consistently good to get the king out of the center and to try to use the open lines that you've created by playing this very aggressive opening. So you didn't get that, but you ultimately did get a piece. So we've learned some lessons. This was all great. The fact that you're trading minor pieces is good when you're going to go up a knight. If you turn on the computer here, like if I did it, let's see, if I turn on evaluation, what does this do to your board? I want to see if it messes up your screen too, because I don't know if it does. It might.
I'm seeing the little scale thing on the left side.
Okay, yeah. So it does. Okay, you're seeing the scale thing, but it doesn't mess up your screen capture. That's awesome.
Nope.
So, okay. So, sorry, my brain was going to streamer mode. So look, if you take this with the queen like you did, watch what happens to that eval bar.
Oh.
Right? Just all the way down. So you go from up a piece and winning to remember, this was the one moment where I gave I said probably more than I should.
And this is where you had warned about the pinning of my queen against my king, but using this, then I used the bishop to break that pin line so that the queen was free to move away and do something else.
100%. Yeah, if they had played rook e8, this is the move that was winning for them. They pin the queen. You're unable to move the queen because of the king, and she's dead. Yeah, you probably go on to lose this game. So I'm actually going to call this your last mistake based on my chess theories of what do we do every game. We're going to make sure that as you and I do this lesson tonight, we make sure we know what your first mistake was, because that's going to help us get better in the opening. And even though you went on to win this game, I would say this was your last big mistake that could have lost you the game. And the lesson is, when the king and queen are on the same line in an open center game, that is like danger zone, get out of dodge. You don't want to do that. And so any move would have been better. Castles long would have been better. Get the king out of the center, and then you can take back with the knight next. Heck, even if the computer doesn't like it, I don't care what it says. Even taking with the knight is better. Yeah, I knew it was going to say that.
It's going to get pissed
which isn't as good. But my point is that even because the reason it's not good is if black starts attacking your knight, they actually can still do this.
Yeah.
But even this would have been better than immediately taking with the queen. So anything that emphasizes I'm already up a piece, I don't need this extra pawn. The only problem I have in my position is that my king is still in the center. The right mindset is get the king safe, which, by the way, is a good big picture chess mindset. The moment you're up material, your mindset should change from what more can I get to risk mitigation. And this is where most players at your level lose winning games, because they go up a piece or a rook or even maybe a queen, but the mindset doesn't become a prophylactic one, which is like a defensive one. It just stays in, like, as if you're playing other games. And this is actually a thing that we've noticed over Pogchamps a lot of gamers struggle with, because just because you're doing good in like Fortnite, like, it doesn't mean you stop trying to like kill people and loot or whatever you would do. I'm trying to make an analogy to the point of,
no, you're 100% right. So the way I looked at it, I can tell you my mindset around that was, that guy is in the open and exposed. My brain said I should kill that.
Yep.
There's
Exactly.
no reason I should not take that. And now that you're saying that, basically that even his pawn was acting as a defense mechanism for me, because it was blocking the line, and I didn't see that. I saw it as, that's exposed and I can take it, without realizing that I was giving him an opportunity. Although he blundered that big time by not moving. He could have moved the rook out, and I immediately would have been screwed.
Brilliant.
I see what you're saying,
that's
and
exactly
it's
it,
clicking.
man. And that is a mindset that gamers have to shift to in chess, because the opportunity for counter punching in chess is different than a lot of other games, where like you might have had several successful like kills and loot or whatever, but no matter how good you're doing, the mechanics of what you're supposed to do next like literally never change. Whereas in chess, once you've won material, chess is a game of math. Like, fundamentally, it's different in that it's a science. So once you're better, if you shut down the studio and essentially take a little bit of a risk mitigation approach, you will most of the time win. That doesn't mean play like a total wimp and like. And
no.
Like, okay, if your opponent like blunders a queen, like take the queen.
Oh,
right?
absolutely,
and, like, so,
yeah.
But you get my point, right? And I think that's a really good mindset to develop, which will win more consistently. Is just, once you're winning, your focus should be, what are my weaknesses? How do I resolve them? How do I eliminate them? And then I take the opportunities that come my way, instead of, like you said, oh, another free piece, and that could have lost you the game.
Yeah, what he's saying is, don't W key. We need to take an opportunity if we're playing Fortnite to farm mats, or if we're playing Tarkov, maybe we need to go pick up meds, look for ammo, grab a little loot, and then we can push again. Guys, don't W key. Okay, that makes way more sense than I like. I get what you're saying in chess terms, 100%. But for chat, because you got, I mean, chat, your guys' collective IQ is like 7. This should make more sense for you. He's just saying, don't W key.
Hey, I'm loving it. Okay, so they missed their chance. And then I did give you a little bit of a clue here, but I want to say you actually found the best move. Like, bishop e2 is the best way to deal with it, because it not only resolves the threat, but also develops a piece. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Maybe the computer wants you to castle. Okay, yeah, computer thinks this is best, which I guess technically it is, because that
it gets
really
him away.
Yeah, at a dodge. But this was second best for sure, and a great move to develop a piece and get castled. Yes, they got some chances here, but knight f3 was a phenomenal move by you, like, no joke. Then you traded queens, which is exactly what you should do when you're up material. By the way, this is another tip that a lot of players at this level will blow, and this will help you beat them in Pogchamps. A lot of players, even if they're winning, hate trading queens, because most like, lower rated players, yeah, they love their queen, right? They will never trade their queen, and so that's actually really, I'm glad to see that you have the experience to be willing to do that, because I think that'll pay off. When you're winning, you're shutting down the studio, you're looking for trades, you're limiting your opponent's chances. Trading queens is exactly what to do there. Once again, probably just getting castled was best, but you went and attacked the bishop. You gave him a little bit of chances, and now you're just cleaning up, and you're just you're taking what they give you.
As soon as I hit the fork, he just threw in the towel.
Okay, let's do it again. So now go back and play again, and I'm gonna watch you. And when you're done, I'm gonna hit you with another one of these buttons.
Okay.
Thank you for the. I just got an office compliment. I got a sweet office compliment. Like, your room's a little sexier. You got a neon light. I'm looking at the back here. I'm sorry that I'm getting so close to you.
No, you're good. I got 3 PCs back here that so I have 35-foot cables that run around the outside of my studio to get over to my monitors. So these in the back are actually the PCs that run everything for stream and stuff. Oh, I can.
Holy crap.
Yeah, hold on. Wait for the camera to swap too. I just hit the button for you.
Oh my gosh.
So this is where I'm sitting right now. I got Twitch chat is right here. YouTube chat's right here. It's my YouTube stat page. There's a little bit of delay. Stream stuff. The left one is sending to YouTube. Right, middle one is sending to Twitch and Twitter. And then here's my alerts. And And then you're actually over here on another
Nice.
monitor. Here, let me turn this around.
You stream to Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Those are the three you do.
all at the same time. And then you get some thigh in there for a second, but there's like Discord, there's there's OBS on my gaming PC that's going to the middle machine, which sends to the guys up top, up there, and there's a whole mess of crap going on. I'm a giant nerd, Danny.
Dude, I love this. I love it. I would switch to some sort of like backlit camera to show you, but I don't have that. But in another life, I wanted to be a streamer. But those are some.
Thanks,
those
bro.
are some really cute green pawns all the way back there.
The guys up there in the corner, I see them.
Yeah, little green pawns I put in the little sound echo thing. So
that's cool. I like it. Hey,
anyway,
listen,
this is awesome.
Different walks of life. I sit in my dungeon all day and stream FPS games and get crapped on most of the time, and now we're playing chess.
All right. So I'm following you. Let's do another game. I'm hoping you get black. And that way we get, just because I want to see more openings for you. So here we go. I'm going to go back into play and make sure I.
Are you able to watch
you.
while?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, you let me know when you are good to go. I will hit play.
You are good.
I got black this time.
I'm following. And you are playing a Ashy-Siri.
Ashy-Siri? Yep. Looks like from... I don't know.
Sounds like a name from
that is
like
India.
Avatar, the Last Airbender. And India. India flag. Okay. I have a voice for streaming. Thanks, chat. I'm going to talk to you while the good doctor does his deed. We're gonna let him focus. Everyone here is rocking handsome beards. I'm not gonna lie. Since there was once a comment made that Danny is the DrLupo of chess.
I just screwed up already. I just screwed up and gave away a pawn immediately.
we both grown beards, by the way, so that's good. We're not as young as we used to be, DrLupo.
Yeah, don't remind me. That's part of life. Yeah, I already gave away a pawn in a real stupid way.
I saw, but okay, keep on the train of what we've advised, which is double king pawn games. Look to be aggressive, look to play tempo moves, and look to develop quickly. There you go. Like getting development, getting big centers, and then getting the king out of the center. Like that's your top priority. Big center, develop quickly, meaning the minor pieces in particular, which are the knights and bishops, and then get the king out of the center. So as long as you're on those,
okay,
as long as you're tracking in that mindset, you're doing good. And I'm going to be quiet and let you calculate here. I wonder if Danny would be good at Magic the Gathering. So fun fact, I played a lot of Magic the Gathering as a kid for a little while. But then what happened was I learned this game called chess. Not sure if you've heard of it.
It's new.
I accidentally got really good at that game at a young age, and it kind of took over my entire life. And that's kind of what happened.
Should have moved that right there.
So,
should have pushed after his bishop chap.
Developing the queen, going for some cheap tricks, but there are no cheap tricks. So you just keep doing you. This is so much fun. We need to throw your yeah. Want to get Danny for some MTG streams? What is MTG? Am I sold for that? What is MTG?
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. Wow, there you go. I probably could have thought of that, given that I was just asked if I ever played Magic the Gathering. Yeah, that could be fun.
Really bad.
No, you're doing great, actually. This is a fun thing about chess, is that a lot of times if we think we're doing bad, computers teach us we're not doing that bad. Remember the force. Remember what I said. You've gotten developed, great. You had a big center, great, and your king is out of the center. Guess whose king is not out of the center? Ashishi Suri.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at painting his bishop immediately. It was the first thing I thought of.
Hey, I can say no more. Peter Dinklage is focused. Oh, that you look a little Peter Dinklage.
Yeah,
now.
Chad likes to call me Peter Dinklage.
Okay. Shout out to Tyrion, right? I mean, somehow that guy made it through. Not sure how. I did tell you to use the Force. I didn't say Anakin, but I did say use the Force. Yeah. One of the most heartbreaking character arcs of all time, Anakin Skywalker. Shout out to Darth.
Oh, I guess. Okay, let me ask you a question. Is it better to pin with the queen, or should I use the rook instead? I'm thinking about what you said earlier.
Well, I don't want to give you a specific move, but yeah, I would calculate. Often, if you have a pin piece, unless you're already winning it, then you just keep piling up on it. In fact, when we're teaching kids, we say PP on the PP. That's what we say. We say PP on the PP, like pile pieces on the pinned piece.
Yep.
So that's exactly what you just did. The knight was good, rook is good, whatever. But you're doing good. PP on the PP, and now you've got your chance to win material. But again, I'm keeping vague here.
Yeah.
For even though we're all having fun training. Yeah. Kids like that when you say PP on the PP because they like it. They like PP jokes. I don't know what to say. Kids,
Why wouldn't you,
Hey, why not, right? Why can't we all just laugh about that all the time? All right, I'm actually gonna let
Danny,
you keep going. You
know what I think is great is taking that stupid queen. I think that's good. I think I want that.
Hey, look at you with that discovered check. I'm gonna go fill up my water thermos that I took into the theater to avoid buying expensive bottled water. But I gotta fill this thing up.
You sound like me.
I'll be right back.
Which I can appreciate.
Yeah, there's just no reason to expensive.
Oh, absolutely not.
There you go. Yeah.
If he's sitting there, I could force a check, but then I'm in a bad spot with two pieces at the same time. I don't want to do that. At this point, we just keep him moving. If we can get him away from. I can move. I can protect that still. But then I'm in a real shit spot here in a second. Actually, what if we protect?
All right. Right where I left you. Doing great. We're going to have some awesome things to go over from this one, too.
I made a bunch of mistakes at the beginning, but I'm doing okay now, I think. He can't take my knight now. He can challenge the queen, but if he does, I take his... Oh, I can't take the bishop. But I can get in a place where I can take the bishop right after that. Okay. He's going to do that instead, which is actually smart. Yeah, smart.
Doing good.
I think I lost the knight, but I'm not sure yet. And this is mostly just me talking out loud. Sorry, I'm not.
Hey,
don't feed me anything because otherwise.
I'm not feeding you. I'm feeding chat. I'm feeding the baby birds. I'm feeding mama birds, feeding the baby birds in chat. What's up, chat?
Chad, okay. I need to not look at them either. If I can't checkmate right now because he just take the knight. I don't have the knight covered. It's close though.
Yeah, but you're doing good overall. Still up a lot of material. You have a lot of options here. Their king is in trouble, so patient. Consider your options. Where's my juice box, Daniel? Juice box. Give me a juice box. Yeah, Crazy Coffee Man. We use Glico 2. Which anyone who speaks advanced, complicated ELO algorithm math, there's some reasons we do that. I will high level summary that with, it's much better to control inflation on both of the bookends, the top and the bottom, to just kind of preserve the overall kind of band integrity, which is key. But it's ratings are complicated stuff when you have 20 million games a day. And look at DrLupo.
There you go.
Chess ain't complicated for him. Bring in the heat.
Yeah, I will openly admit I made some stupid moves at the very beginning, not realizing that I was just straight up feeding. And then as soon as I was able to force a move away and take his queen, as soon as I found that, and that was over.
I love it. I just gave you a link on Discord.
Okay. Chad, I'm ready to get scolded about the beginning of this game. Go ahead, and I deserve it. Please. It's
gonna be awesome. Well, no, it's not scolding. This is gonna be, this is how we get better. And I'm excited. Wait, what happened to our classroom here? Oh, you're here. Okay,
yeah, I've got it.
So first thing, you can flip the board. Not sure if you know this, but let's do it to see it from black side. So if you hold your mouse up by the little settings cog in the corner of the board, and then there's a little flipperooski button.
Yep, got it.
Okay, cool, for your chat and for you. So the first of all, E4, E5, good. I just want to say we're just getting to know each other. This is an intimate time for our chess relationship. This is the beginning of our relationship. I love what I'm seeing so far, that you're consistent with E4 and E5. So officially, as long as I'm your coach, I just want you to stick with this. No messing around. If they play E4, you play E5, and when you're white, play the Ponziani, do what you're doing. No matter what, it'll get tempting as you learn more to be like, oh, this person says I should play the Sicilian or the Caracan or whatever. Like, all openings are just a freaking rabbit hole that distract, new players to the game from the shit that matters, which is like pattern recognition, tactics, development, king safety. So I'm only making this speech because in case anyone else tries to influence you, I want to be like, hey man, just don't fall for the crap.
Danny, listen.
Yeah.
My chat has told me countless times in Tarkov that I've missed XYZ thing, that I haven't done a thing right. At the end of the day, they're all dog shit at the game, and I'm fucking insane. So I'm gonna listen to you because I'm dog shit at the game, and you're fucking insane. Chat, no offense, awesome. You guys are ass. Okay. All right,
you hear that, chat? All right, so here we go. So E4, E5, good. Now he played developing this bishop before the knight. Remember, you had this position as white. You played knight f3. Knight f3 is objectively the better move. It develops with a tempo. It attacks the center. Yes, chess is not that simple, but I want to break it down to the themes there, because knight f3 is a simpler move, but it's also a better move consistently. Why did he play this move? Because like almost everybody at this level, if you had just done a random move, he was playing for the bullshit 4-move checkmate. And I just want to show this to you to make sure you never.
Yeah, I saw
great. Yeah. So this is the only reason people at this level play the bishop's opening. The bishop's opening is an opening you can play instead of knight f3 on move 2, and you don't have to go for the crappy 4-move checkmate. Like, you can actually play this move, and then there are a number of other different weird ways to play. But I would say most people who do it are doing it to follow up with either queen h5 or queen f3, which both have the same goal.
Yep.
So the reason I'm saying that is because what's funny is that even though what you played is like not a good move, right? It loses a pawn.
It broke that though.
Exactly. Yeah. So it actually kind of worked out. It's hilarious that in the end, just preventing this probably paid off for you. But what I do want to show you here is the next time you get this, what is the best way to counter the bishop's opening without having to sacrifice a pawn? It's to make sure you play this knight on move 2, not this knight. And the reason that can be forgotten is because 9 times out of 10, when you play a decent player, they're playing knight f3, and so your instinct is to play knight to c6 because it defends the pawn.
Yep.
So what ends up being in most people's head is that when they face something else, here's why this works for so many beginner players. when they face something else that isn't knight f3, they still play the natural move to defend the pawn. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen the bishop's opening followed by knight to c6, and then they play queen h5, and they go, oh yeah, I forgot, I can do this knight now, and then just like that,
it's over.
We've got tears.
Yeah.
So I'm walking you through that, not because you don't know that, but because I want, one, maybe someone in chat finds it useful, but two, this is helpful because this is how good chess games go bad. This is how shit goes wrong, X-rated edition. Don't meet the bishop's opening with knight to c6. That is what allows them to stuff.
At the beginning of this chess.com account, I have won a couple games with that exact bullshit. There
you go.
Bishop queen into that spot.
Love it.
F7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we meet the bishop's opening in the future? We remember that they're not attacking our pawn, so we can just play knight f6. Knight f6 does everything you want. It stops queen h5. You'll just win the queen. It attacks the pawn. And the only thing that can go wrong is if they play queen f3 and you, for some reason, hallucinate and move your knight and allow checkmate. But you're not going to do that. Like, if they play queen f3, you can do anything. You can develop your bishop and get castled next, which will be amazing. You could develop this knight, which, by the way, is always good when there's a queen out early, because here comes the knight. And what do I say about a queen in front of the minor pieces in the opening? She's the old lady who swallowed the fly. Does this look as ugly as the queen did in front of the bishop in your game and blocking castles? No, but it's still an old lady swallowing the fly because she blocks the knight square. And if the knight square is taken, well, then you have to go to a worse square with the knight, which means you're being slow in terms of getting castled.
Yep.
So I always tell that story to kids because they remember it, because the whole song and dance of the old lady who swallowed the fly. When I used to teach professionally in my other life, I would sing songs to kids because they remember. You go, you don't want to... Because the old lady swallows a fly, and then she's in trouble, and she's doing more stupid shit. Then what is she? I think she swallows a bird, and then like
it gets worse and worse and worse. It gets worse. Yeah.
So don't put your queen in front of your pieces in the opening. You end up justifying one mistake with another. But this is your move in the future. Play knight f6, attack the pawn, and then anything that follows. You could develop the bishop to a nice square here. They could develop a good move, which would defend the pawn, and now you could go here, which attacks the knight, and so that sort of renews your threat.
Okay.
What I'm pointing out, because I want to get to another game, ultimately you playing is more important than me blabbering. As long as you play knight f6, any developing move that follows, you get castled. What are we doing in double king pawns games? We're trying to get our king out of the center so that we can go to town and start busting things open. That is our fundamental pattern goal every time. So now to your game. What's hilarious, man, is you play b5, which is not a great move and lose the pawn, but it's actually not a bad move either, especially with how you followed it, which was to go for a big center with d5. Now, ultimately, you could have just played this move right away. You played here first, and then you played d5. But I love what you did no matter what, because you went for the center, and then you developed quickly. The only other thing I would say is, in the future, if you have a chance to capture your opponent and double their pawns early, this is not a bad thing to do. This was probably your best move. While we don't traditionally call pawns old ladies who swallow the fly, this is highly dysfunctional stuff for white.
Yeah, that's not good.
This pawn blocks this pawn, which blocks the bishop. These are pawns only a mother could love. This is some ugly shit. Like, so you don't want to miss your chance to double your opponent's pawns in the center. That would have been the only other thing I would add to the ones we noted quickly. But I love how you played here. Like, I could go on and talk about the individual things to do better. For example, you already had a chance to fork. I'm going to turn on the evaluation just so you see how much better you are here. Like, you're already in a great spot. But you castled, which was awesome. Still, just because, like, if you played this way, man, you are winning 99% of your Pogchamps games. And I'm not just bullshitting because I'm, like, your coach in your corner. I'm serious, man. Like, this is winning chess. You have control over the center, you've developed quickly, and your king is safe. So, yes, if you see obvious chances to punish your opponent, like taking and doubling pawns or whatever, do it. But my overall goal in these things is to give you like a recipe for success so that your opponents might do some weird shit and you can't control it but you're not. Half the time what happens in a chess player's mind is you're second guessing yourself. You're like, oh my God, they played something different. Is it brilliant? Is it like, most of the time it's not. Just like stick to the recipe and you're going to get wins. So they took here, and what did you do? You started immediately punishing them. Probably a little better than queen is rook first. And
Yeah,
let me give
I
you-
talked about it in there too. I think
Okay,
so.
great.
Is the idea to keep the queen? Okay, so I'm gonna equate it to Tarkov. We
Yeah.
did an arena tournament. One of the things that we played was it had control points, and having people float. Those people are very, very important to have your highest skill players floating. In this case, it's important to have the queen floating instead of being the one that's doing the pinning, because the rook, or the rook could have just moved over, and he didn't have to be able to move diagonally in order to pin. He just scoots over to e8, and then the queen can still float and be more aggressive. And I think
that is a brilliant way. That is a brilliant analogy.
Okay.
And it's I've never used that analogy before, but I'm going to now take it to like the NBA. It's like you don't want your like best option on the offensive end always guarding their best player, because then they're exhausted, right? Like you want them.
The most threatening piece needs to be doing the threatening, not holding someone in place.
100%. Shout out to anybody watching from chess.com, by the way. We just threw your show on the homepage at chess.com. Chess.com/. If you go to chess.com/today, your stream is up there in the little corner. So
thank you very much. I appreciate
a bunch of people watching over there. So that's a great analogy. And the one other thing I would say is that typically when you're pinning, so yeah, the NBA player, great analogy. The video game one you made, great. Usually the lesser valued piece is also better, mainly because you might end up needing to take the piece.
Yeah.
And if it is a trade, like it becomes like a takes scenario, you always want your biggest piece behind at the end of the takes. So like the way like a smart player builds up what they call a battery. A battery is like in old medieval times, like a huge battering ram, is you don't have the king at the front of the battering ram while they're dumping oil down and burning everybody.
Yeah, you're chucking the pawns in first, and then the
exactly.
a knight or bishop, and then a rook, and then the
100%.
last thing to take should be your most powerful piece that ends up in a position that is not being threatened by anything, so that you win the trade.
So we've made. I love the like LeBron James kind of analogy. The queen wants to be flexible because she could go here and do damage. She could go here. Like that's a great analogy. And the other one is if you anticipate a fight, you want your best dudes coming in last. Don't make them the first. So you did this, but then next it just continues to get better. You attacked it with another piece. Again, you never dealt with the tension. These two guys are full of a long distance tension relationship. You should have taken first and then done this.
I considered the trade. I had thought about that, and I guess there's no downside to it because I'm going to make a move, he's going to make a move, and that puts me back in the position where I'm still going to move the knight to continue to threaten e5 and continue to stack on there. So yeah, that was
100%.
I thought about that afterwards, and I was like, I should have just traded that. There's no reason not to.
The good news is their king being in the center is such a problem that even at the loss of that bishop, so instead of like winning a piece, right, where it would have been you would have traded here and then probably just won the bishop outright, you end up with a trade where you essentially are trading this bishop for this bishop, but it's still so bad for them because of the threats over here on the king. And yes, if they start playing good moves suddenly now, moves like this that block what you did, like they block the discover check, you would have had more work to do. But the fundamental bottom line is they didn't, and you had a discover check which won the queen. But I want to challenge you here because this will be fun. You went for the first discover you saw. Brilliant, love it. You're going to win a lot of Pogchamps games this way. For chat who doesn't speak chess, a discovery is when you move a piece and it's not the piece you move that does the checking, but the piece behind it.
Yep.
So DrLupo played a brilliant move here, a discover check, where you move a piece and you do a discovery. But this actually wasn't super winning if they found this one move. They could have saved the queen and blocked the check at the same time.
Oh, crap.
So there was actually, I'm gonna give you a puzzle here. There's actually a checkmate in two moves here with the same idea of a discovered check, but you have a discovered double check for that knight, and then you get to follow with checkmate the next move. I'm gonna let you try to find it.
Okay. So, oh man.
So look aggressive. You had the right idea, which was moving the knight.
So the other option was that I consider was knight to d3. because the queen is still doing the discover check still happens, but in this case, the both the knight and the queen are checking, which means the king would have had to move. In which case, I move the queen all the way up to E1 and checkmate.
Dude, you're a genius. Now, technically, the forced way to do it is knight F3, but it's the same idea.
Okay.
Because now, no matter where the king moves, it is for sure queen E1. But this is just as good. I mean, like from a human perspective, because if they go to F1 or D1, what you said is true. And if they go here,
then they could take the knight with the king to move away.
But you can do this,
and then I would do
totally
that. That was actually the reason that I chose that spot, because I had considered both options when I was in there, and I said, okay, if I move D3 and I screw, the reason I didn't do D3 is because if I second guessed myself. I said if I screw something up and there's something I'm missing, because like I said at the beginning of this, I routinely find myself falling into other human players' traps, and I'm like, am I screwing something up? So that's why I didn't do D3, but looking at it now, there was nothing, like you just showed, there's nothing they could have done. I wouldn't have won necessarily if they saw the king to D2, I would have taken their queen. But you're right, F3 was a guaranteed checkmate.
Yeah. Here, let me expand on that a little bit, because this will be a pattern for future success, regardless of this. When you talk about being worried about falling into your opponent's traps, first, let me just validate that every good chess player is a little paranoid. It's important to be skeptical of your own brilliance. And where kids struggle with chess early on is any other game, whether it's rolling a dice like Monopoly or even cards of any kind, you not only have no control over what your opponent does, you don't even have to think about it. Like, your job is to roll the freaking dice and move the piece to boardwalk. And the reason I say that is because chess is the first game where kids learn that there are consequences to not thinking about what other people have going for them. That there are consequences to not just your actions, that is one part of chess that is true, but there are consequences to you being self-consumed. And chess is such a massive like self-reflective experience, because you lose games because basically you just didn't have the discipline to care about your opponent's threats more than your brilliant ideas. So I want to validate that skepticism of our own brilliance is actually like self-doubt is a freaking superpower, bro. So that it makes good chess players. So I love that you're doing that. But now let me give you the criteria. At the top of the most powerful moves in chess are double checks. A double check is like, you can win, dude. Like, because there is no move that other than moving the king. Like, legally, there is no way to meet a double check besides moving the king. Right? Every piece could be hanging. You move the knight there, they can take this thing. They can take this thing a million ways. They could take your queen. Like, their queen could be right here right now, and they still have to move the king because there's no way to eliminate both checking pieces at once. So double checks are at the top. Discovered checks are the second most powerful. Not every discovery is a double check, but like this is a discovery, but it's not a double check.
Yep.
So, but discoveries are also very powerful. And then after that, we get into the three powerful moves, which are checks, captures, tempo moves. So the reason I'm ranking double checks at the top, discover second, discover checks, and then regular checks, captures, where you take a piece, and tempo moves, is because as you're going through your list and you're operating with self-doubt, good superpower. If you are doing one of the top five, a double check, a discovery, a check, a capture, or a tempo move where your weaker piece is attacking their more powerful piece, it's okay to be aggressive and calculate those force lines where you're not worried about your opponent's threats, because you don't want to miss your opportunity. You don't want to lose games because you assumed you were going to be trapped, right? And so that criteria of checklist, now in theory, a good chess player is also thinking about that top five for their opponent. They're always considering their opponent's checks, their opponent's captures, and their opponent's tempo moves as well. But when it's your turn, it's time for business. And I would just give you the green light to say, checks, captures, tempo moves are at the top of the list. And if you have a double check, dude, like you're fucking winning. Just do it, right? So anyway, There you go. That's my last lecture of this game. You played knight g6, and then, dude, you just smoked him. By the way, this was actually phenomenal finishing. You brought the queen up. Like, okay, you probably even could have done this right away, but you brought the queen up, you took on d4, and then you made it on f2. Like, you couldn't have won this game any more efficiently than you did. Like, no joke.
Cool. Chad, are we actually doing okay?
Yeah, you're doing good. Sorry, I got distracted because someone's talking about the time I got sued for $100 million because of an anal bead scandal. So thanks for that, Chad.
Oh, I know. Don't worry. Yeah, when I started stream up, Chad immediately asked if I had my anal beads ready. And yes,
man.
Chad, I do.
You know how that story started. It started in a Twitch chat. Do you know that story?
I know about the scandal, the guy cheating.
Yeah.
I don't know the result of that or anything like that.
And I will not get into, I'll say this, regardless of the scandal and Magnus Carlsen's accusation of cheating over the board or anything that chess.com, meaning my company, and I may have done to get ourselves in trouble, I'm going to avoid all the scandal and all the lawsuit stuff. But the story
don't say
of
that's
the
going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not going to, but the story of the anal beads literally started because of a Twitch stream on the day of the scandal. Somebody in chat was randomly like, well, how would he cheat without being seen? And some random, probably 16-year-old kid alone in their mom's basement.
There's no
literally,
fucking
whoever
way.
the 16-year-old kid is out there alone in your mom's basement, it's time to out yourself, whoever you are. Jokes aside, whoever this random Twitch user was said, well, maybe he was using anal beads. And that clip got captured and made it to live stream fails. And then Elon Musk tweets it like it's fact without even fucking knowing. Before you know it, it is literally like on the Tonight Show, and the whole thing went viral because of some random person in Twitch chat who said that. That is a true story. That is what happened.
Chad, y'all have okay. That's a good example of why I keep you idiots in check sometimes and like handle you the way that I do, because that can fucking happen. You know. That's absolutely wild.
It like so many people, even to this day, man, because obviously we went through the whole lot. I'm not going to get into all the stress and the many gray hairs. I feel like I lost 5 years on my life that year. But regardless of what happened, I still run into anyone who I run into today who wants to talk about it. It is literally 50-50 whether someone knows that it was fiction or not. Like, people who just know that it was either like, most people are like, yeah, he cheated using anal beads, right? Like, it's actually they think that. So that tells you the power of fake news and social virality that we live in. It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, vibrating anal beads definitely make a lot of sense, though. You know, Danny, you really got to consider there's a decent chance.
The fact that no one has started a brand called Smart Beads yet is beyond me. I mean, that is $1 billion idea out there. Smart Beads, you're welcome. If you do it, you can send a check my way. All right. Go ahead, play another game. I'm gonna follow you again. This is gonna be awesome.
Alrighty, here we go.
You can start whenever I'm calling you. Here we go. J Master 47. Booyah.
Immediately aggressive. My inclination is to want to defend, but he is it's going to end up being a trade. I do want to open the middle up. You know what? I'm not afraid of losing piece. You can take the pawn.
Yeah, I'm really glad this is happening because I'm gonna not give clues, but this will be a really good one for us to learn from. Okay, awesome. You have good chances here. I'm just gonna watch and talk to chat. You do you. We got. I do not know what that tech is. I don't want to say the first word because I'm worried I'm gonna. Yes, there is a Netflix documentary. We filmed with them. It's coming out. It was supposed to come out in April. It got pushed to the fall season of Untold, but there is I'm told it is the longest Untold Netflix has done in 2 seasons, and it's going to be out in August about the whole scandal. So it'll be fun.
That's wild.
Oh, man. Definitely don't Google anal beads chess scandal on your work PC. That is a good pro tip. All right. JMaster47. I can't get over your profile pic.
It's Tim and Tyler mashed together into one.
Have you showed Tyler that?
Oh, that went nuts a while ago, and immediately I was like, okay, I 100% have to make this my profile picture.
So good.
He's gonna threaten. I can't pin that there. That sucks. Okay. He's got that
This is
covered.
fun. Giggity giggity. Here we go. I don't understand how to respond to threads on Twitch. I need to in chat. I know what you're thinking. Like, I'm talking out loud, just ratioed myself right there because I'm old. All right. Remember all of our tips. You're doing great. Yeah, I'm gonna go over the F6 puzzle after this, Jack Circa in chat. I'm the same age as most of the chatters here. What is your demo, DrLupo? I mean, you got like a bunch of like people. You don't have like the young like spammer kind of vibe. You've got people who actually care about your stream.
I've got old people in chat. They're all old. Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's what I want. You know? Old, I call them mature. I was gonna say ripe, but that sounded weird.
You're more
ripened.
You're kinder than I am. They are ripe though. That's not wrong.
I am 39. So this is my I'm a 1985er, so I will be 40 this year in October. It's happening. Seasoned, marinated. We've properly marinated. You know, I've gone through a few existential crises in my time.
You've only got 2 years on me.
You're 37, all right.
38.
Oh, you're 38.
You said you're about to turn 40, so.
Yeah. You're 40 in October, so.
Okay with that.
All right. We're on a good roll here. Can't wait to go over this one too. We're gonna learn a bunch in this one. Like, I'm not saying that because you're doing badly. I'm saying there's gonna be some valuable stuff for Pogchamps here.
Sleep.
I'm liking it. So many dinosaurs in here. I agree. Speaking of which, has anyone seen previews for the new Jurassic World? You got Scarlett Johansson, who's like the new badass, who's going to protect everybody for the latest bad idea they have, which is to go back to the island.
It's always a bad idea, too.
It's always a bad idea, going back to the island, you know? But they keep doing it. Because we all have nothing better to do. yeah, going back to the island, Kate. Lost was I lost my way in Lost at some point. I don't know that I've forgiven J.J. Abrams yet for how that show ended.
Well, you got to remember the writer's strike happened, and so the first
That's
two
true.
seasons were good, and then they jumped the shark real quick.
Yeah, season 3 really did fall apart, and then they tried to kind of regroup.
Same thing happened to Heroes, dude. I miss Heroes.
Yeah.
Heroes used to be so good. Why did he just do that?
Dude. Yeah, not a good move. I agree. Yeah, Siler was like the best bad guy.
Oh, so good.
And then they made him good.
Save the cheerleader, save the world, dude. Nope, they
Right?
threw that shit away real quick. Heroes
Like-
was so good.
It was so good. And then I mean, Hiro Nakamura from the show Heroes. By the way, you know he's a great chess player.
He resigned.
Okay, you just crushed that game, but we do have some things to learn. I don't, don't take that the wrong way. You're doing great.
I'm honestly, dude, I want to be 100% clear. I get told one of the things that comes with streaming is my chat telling me I'm shit at what I do all the time. So if you're like, hey, Loop, that was really fucking bad, then I'll be like, okay, talk to me.
This
I will
is good.
never be offended. You be as brutal as you need to.
Yeah. We should, by the way, have a stream where we talk about how would we rank shows that got butchered by that writer's strike?
Oh,
like,
dude,
is
there
Lost
was-
at the top, or Heroes is probably honestly, now that you say it, Heroes is probably at the top.
Lost and Heroes are very high up there.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that Heroes could have been one of the best ones, best shows, and it just got shit on.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what's great about this opening. You either face Knight F6 because someone is really good or really bad.
Okay.
Someone in your chat is pretty good. I forget their name. It started with an I. I think IMG something, maybe PW. But
don't say that about him. Don't guess.
They immediately were like, "Oh, I love the Petrov." And first of all, no one loves the Petrov unless they're a masochist, because the Petrov is boring. And don't play the Petrov, IMG PW. Sorry to call you out like that.
No,
Petrov
you
is
call
boring.
IMG out literally any chance you get, please.
Okay, great. So the Petrov, no, but I can tell you no chess, because this is the Petrov, or also known as the Russian defense, if you know it. And while it starts out as what is also called the copycat, after taking the pawn, the Petrov is only good if you don't continue to copy, which is what this guy did. So this guy falls into the bucket of really bad. So if they play Knight F6 and then play the move D6, so before they take, what have I said often in these double king pawn games? You play a tempo move first.
Yep.
So if they know what they're doing, they play a tempo move, which opens up the bishop and changes the position, because now after you move the knight, wherever you go, when they take it, now we're in a position where they actually have a better centralized piece and a slightly extra tempo, because even though they started out as black, because you lost all this time with the knight. And if you try to go old lady who swallowed the fly, well, in the end, at the end of this copycat, black is somehow up a developing move. Black ends up being up a tempo.
Gotcha.
So at a high level, no one goes this way if they're white, because basically white is handing black the first move because of this trickery. So does this guy know what they're doing? No, this guy did not. Excuse me. This guy did not play this because of the Russian defense of the Petrov. They did not play D6. They played the copycat. Now, the copycat is the fastest way to lose openings fast. So this is why I was excited that you faced this, because this is the scenario where you really should do this move. Here, the difference is they can't copy anymore, because now you take. And their best option possible, they're just down a piece, is to actually get, they at least get the piece back, but in the end, you're up a pawn. Like this.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
white is up 4 versus 3 and doing phenomenally with a great queen in the center, and you're just better and likely winning quickly against 99% of the people you play at your level. So I want to go over that again. You play knight f3. If they play the copycat, what you did was actually correct, even if they know the Petrov. Worst case scenario, they know the Petrov, and I'm going to show you what to do there, because in that line,
I was
you
gonna
don't want to
ask,
play the
yeah.
queen e2. Yeah. So we'll come back to that in a second. But what they played is the copycat. And here, instead of the move you did, bishop e3, is a scenario where you really should do this, because their options are, 1, just lose the knight, and then if they're lucky, they're just down a pawn. Or a lot of times they will move the knight, and now I don't have to tell you what to do because you're good at discovered attacks. This is exactly the type of tactic you have
100%.
before.
It's set. I'm set up immediately to move like knight to c6.
Yep.
Booyah. The check happens. I take the queen.
Exactly. You can even go get the rook if you're into that, but queens are better. So yeah, just pointing out that you're completely winning no matter what you do here.
Yep.
And if they play d5, it's the same thing you did before in that first game we had, but you have even better than f3. Just play d3, because this move is always inherently a little risky. It does open up the king to checks.
Okay.
You can get in some messy stuff here. Example, like if you go here, they can even take, and they're attacking the queen. So then you take, and they take here. And yes, there are discovered checks here, but you're also not even winning. So it's actually, the point is this, like, I'm not showing you perfect lines, but you don't really want to ever open up the king on this diagonal if you can avoid it. So you just play d3, and you're in great shape. Either you're going to take the knight, or once again, they'll move the knight, and you already know what to do here, winning on the spot. So this is what could have happened in this game. After they took, you played bishop d3, and we're going to get back to that in a minute. You have a couple other things to learn. But as I said, every game we do, what are we doing? We're learning the first mistake and the last mistake.
Yep.
So this was good. Your first mistake was just not playing queen e2 and playing bishop d3.
And the reason for that is to try. So queen e2 is to try and keep that in line, because his answer to that, you had anticipated if he continues to copycat, is what, queen to e7, and then I can take.
Yep.
And then there's no way. Okay, I see what you're saying. So there's no way he cannot take the knight at that point. He's gonna, yeah, exactly. He's gonna pawn to threaten. He's gonna do a tempo move, like you said.
Yep.
How would I defend against that? What's the next call out of that?
Yeah, you can't move the knight because you'll lose your queen, but you're winning a pawn. You defend your knight, they take, and you take back.
Gotcha. Okay, so at that point, we're continuing to trade off of the e5 location just because I have it stuck there. It's pinned because of the queen. He cannot take with the queen, because then I will take his queen. Okay.
Yep. And you're winning a pawn, and you're also in a great position because the queen is a dominant piece in the center. They can attack your pawn. You'll pin the knight.
Yep.
You'll get castled. Like this is a great position to play. Cool. And it is the copycat is the one scenario where you really do want the old lady to swallow the fly, because none of this stuff is going to matter. You're winning material quickly. But so what if they do the Russian defense? The reason I want to show you that is because while there are many options for you, I'm going to show you the one that comes full circle back to what you did in your game, which is after d6, move the knight, they'll take. And the best thing to do is to not try to old lady swallow the fly anymore, because they can meet your pin with an unpin. And as I showed you, black is somehow up a move, so white doesn't want to actually go down this line anymore. But instead, all you want to do is go back to so how does white gain back the first move if black has objectively almost an extra move so far? They've moved a pawn where you haven't. Well, here's the fun news about chess. Pawns can move twice on the first move. So you go here and you've actually just gained a tempo, because their best move here is actually just to play here. So you've kind of reset, and now you're the one back up a tempo. You play bishop to d3, you get, which is what you did in your game. You get castled and you're fine. So yes, I could give you a whole Petrov lesson right now, but we're not going to do that. It would take hours. And overall, I will say, like IGM whatever said, sorry dude, not trying to shit on you there, but it is a good opening for black if they get this. He's right. The Petrov defense is a very solid opening, because they kind of meet you with you and castles. And overall, this is a very equal and dynamic game. And I won't get into it besides just to say it is one of the most popular defenses for black at the highest levels of our game. It is a solid weapon for black. But 99% of people are playing it for the copycat. They're going to take just like this person did here. And now that I've showed you this, you're just going to start winning chess games. But if you ever do face it, just go back and then regain your tempo that you lost by going twice on the first move. Take advantage of that, and white is immediately back in the driver's seat, and you can get castled.
Okay.
So that's the plan. So in this game, you played... They took, and then you played bishop to d3. So again, next time you're here, you know what you're going to do.
Yep. The very limited time that we use the queen to block our own pieces is if they're copycatting, because we could take advantage of that.
Oh yeah, love it.
Okay.
By the way, I really do mean this. Like, now that I know you've beaten 1,500 bots and you won several games tonight, you put a little bit of time in, man. Like, you are way better than 5-7. You are, if you were playing chess and maintaining this rating, I'd be closing your account for sandbagging. Okay, because you are way better than this. Like, I'm not
really.
You for sure. Like, you are way better. And yes, you're probably losing some games, as you said, for some big blunders where you kind of lose sight of your opponent's threats. That's why I try to keep going on a mini soapbox at least once per game, because I'm trying to give you chess is a game of pattern recognition fundamentally, but there are different types of patterns. There are the patterns on the board and the patterns in your mind, the patterns off the board, as I like to say, because the thing that often hurts us is not just where we made a mistake in our thought, but there was a pattern of how and why we think that way that repeats itself.
Yep.
And so the reason I try to go on those tangents is because I want to say, hey, when you say this, here's the pattern or the line of thinking, like center control, open the lines, get the king safe. Like, tempo moves are more valuable in open center positions. Don't put the queen and king on the same line, especially when the e-file's open. That's like a pattern of thought that can actually apply to like 100,000 freaking positions. And those are the ways we get better, where we're not like, objectively, on move 19 in this game, you blundered your queen. Okay, when are you ever going to be on move 19 in that exact position again and remember it? Like, actually, like, the chances are low. But the opportunity you will have to not take a pawn when your queen and king are on the same line again and let yourself be pinned, that actually is something that'll happen again. And so try to go on those mini tangents, because if the moment you start correcting the why that led to the mistake, that's when the learning curve starts going like this, instead of like the consistent shit show that is the up and down, I don't know why I'm losing chess games, right? Okay. So that's why I'm doing that. And overall, I really mean that. Like, every time I'm giving you something, you are like, I can tell how your brain is like, okay, mental commitment to the pattern of it, right? I'm not gonna put my queen, old lady who swallowed the fly, except in the copycat, because now I see the pattern. And that's like exactly how you want to commit it to memory. Rather than trying to remember on move 4 of this exact line of the Petrov, I played queen e2.
Yeah.
You will forget that. Okay, awesome. So you played bishop b3. And again, like, this isn't as good as what you could have gotten there. If black starts playing the best moves here, they can take with check before you have a chance to mate. You take back any way
you saw what I was going for, just to see, because I was like, is this guy gonna see it or not?
Yeah,
I will admit, I was looking for an easy finish right there.
But it's not the worst thing in the world, especially here. And because here's what I'll say, this is not a bad move, even if they see the checkmate. So I'm actually, why am I saying this isn't bad, and why did I criticize it earlier? Can you see the difference of, like, I'm not being biased to you as my student. Why am I saying it's okay for you when in the other game, when you were black and your opponent put the queen there, I didn't like it? What's the difference? Do you remember what it was about that person playing the queen there that I didn't like there?
No, what was it? I forget.
It was because this knight was still on g1, so it was an old lady who swallowed the fly trick.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That was the other reason why I was like this. I think this is okay, because I've already developed my knight out away. I'm not blocking the knight square, because he has already moved out. So now that spot is fair game, and I'm not stopping him.
Thank you.
Okay.
100%. That brilliantly said. Exactly. So cheap. I'll put it this way: the best players in the world, man, are phenomenal at cheap tricks. The difference is they are setting up cheap tricks along the way of doing the right plan. So it's like this. If their opponent sees the cheap trick, which most of the time they do at their level, they are still executing their offense, so to degree. It's like an NBA analogy. Like, if someone's running like complicated Jerry Sloan backdoor baseline offense, is the defense always going to like just forget that there's a pick coming and allow an easy dunk? No, most of the time they stop it. But occasionally they do let it happen, right?
Yeah.
Occasionally they just fuck up rotation, or they leave a man open and it's an easy bucket. But even if they do, everyone plays like defense correctly, it's objectively hard to like stop like the backdoor like screen and roll, or like I mean, sorry, I was raised on basketball, so I know a lot of basketball runs. So like,
you're good.
Or like the triangle offense with what Phil Jackson did. Like, the way the ball is rotating around the middle of the court, it's not is not playing for like somebody to, you know, drop the ball on defense and allow for like an easy spin to the basket. But it happens from time to time. Players miss their rotation. But even if they do see it, they're moving the ball in a way where at some point it becomes hard to stay with the offense and someone's going to get open.
Yep.
If you can set up cheap tricks along the way to executing a great offense, that's how grandmasters win chess games. They win games on cheap tricks all the time, but if their opponent stops it, they were also playing for something that objectively was a good scheme.
Yeah.
So what I would say here is you threatened checkmate in one, but you also developed your queen into the middle of the board in a way that was not detrimental to your game. It didn't get in the way of the knight on G1. You did nothing wrong in the position, and your opponent happened to stop it. What I was going to say is, yes, if they saw to take with check, you take back in some way. Now you kind of have to take with the queen or the knight because you don't want ugly duckling pawns, so you'll take it. And then they'll probably just develop and get castled. And so in the end, are you checkmating them? No. But is this a bad move? Not at all. The queen is actually very active on this square. You'll start playing moves like knight c3. You'll get castled. And this is going to be, this is a game. This is a fight. Like, you got plenty of chess ahead. So that's what I wanted to point out. Like, even though this was a cheap trick, this was a good move. And here, this was what your chat said, so I had to get to this. Here, you missed a chance to capitalize on this cheap trick because they played a bad move. They should have taken with check and then dealt with this. Instead, they played f6, and you missed a chance to blow open and win this game very quickly. And so your chat would be mad if I didn't come back and quiz you here.
Okay, so I have an opportunity to check here with the queen to h5. But I don't know. I don't. So my only fear is he's just immediately going to move the pawn to g6 and block it, and then the queen's threatened, and I have to move. Is that?
So what do you do there?
Is that okay? So
I'm going to let you do it in your head instead of doing it because now you're becoming a real chess player. So visualize it. Queen h5 check.
Queen h5. Their pawn.
By the way,
g6.
g6 is the only move. They have to play g6.
G6 is the only move. Yep.
Yeah, if they move the king, you're like getting in with the queen. So g6, and then what can you do in that position?
So the queen's being threatened. Oh God, the bishop is lined up at d3. I could take the pawn at g6. They take back potentially.
Yep.
I mean, at that point, then I could take back at g6 with the queen. I could also take their rook.
Both are good, and you're all over it. And yes, taking with the queen, and then you're in an all-out attack. Like, I'm actually trying to calculate whether there's a forced mate. I don't see it, but I'm going to show you what I was looking at. So, queen h5 check, g6. You take with the bishop. Now, by the way, you could also take with the knight.
And then it's a fork. Well,
even if they take with check in between move, intermezzo doesn't matter because the idea of taking advantage of this pin pawn is just good for you. Like, you just won a rook for a knight.
Yep.
So, like, you could take on g6 with knight or bishop, and either way, if they take it, your rook is hanging.
So the same thing happened to tell you my mindset. The same thing happened in this game that happened last game, where I saw that. And I said, there's a trap I second guess myself. There's a trap I'm not seeing, and I should not move the queen because it's going to force the pawn out. And then what do I do after that? And I had a panic moment of, I don't know what is there a thing I'm missing, and I just didn't do it.
So again, I love that you're sharing that because this is how we get better. That's why I gave you that pattern recognition list, because I can't solve. Again, skepticism of our own brilliance, self-doubt is a superpower. I'm not saying lose it. I would actually rather you not play moves that you think are brilliant and like be a little more cautious. But what was the criteria I gave you, right? It's checks, captures, tempo moves. And if you can see a check and they play g6 in your head, before you dismiss that line, consider the captures, because that's the only thing I just did to you or for you in our analysis that you didn't do in your game. You saw the check. You saw g6, and then you stopped. Yep. You didn't give yourself the green light. That's what I'm trying to give you is the green light, right? Is that in life, in chess, we should have those moments where we are self-doubt, but then we should be like, all right, but like before I just give up on it, like let's actually play it out and see. And this is anytime you are still calculating a line that is offering checks and is offering captures or is offering tempo moves, you haven't reached the end of the line yet. Keep going. Sometimes you calculate a couple more moves and you reach the end of the line because you go, oh shit, this doesn't work. I just lost my queen. Okay, I'm not saying do that. But as long as you're calculating a check, a capture, and a tempo move, I used to tell my students, you have not earned the right to quit yet. Meaning, keep calculating. And that was the way I told them, is like, to use the coach analogy, be like, hey, if I'm teaching my students when to keep looking versus when to give up and trust their self-doubt, because you also want to learn to trust your own skepticism, those are the criteria. Checks, captures, tempo moves. As long as there's still a check to look at in the line, as long as there's still a capture move to look at in the line, or a tempo move, keep looking until you don't have those anymore. And eventually, you won't. So that this sounds silly, and I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back, but if I could like tell this to the world, so many chess players need to understand this, because they don't understand what to weigh up against. When should I keep looking for a great move, or when should I stop? And it is literally often as simple as, if there was still a check, a capture, or a tempo move, one of the big three in the line, then you gave up too early, you quit too soon. Don't give up, keep looking, and that'll help you. So there were captures in your head that you could have considered, and again, that's not a green light that every capture works. You could say, well, isn't there always a capture like queen? Yeah, you're right, that's a capture too, but that's a shitty capture, right? So you also have to use your human knowledge and intuition of the game to know that some captures are bad captures. But you get, I'm giving the high level bullet points: checks, captures, tempo moves. You have to use your intuition and knowledge of which ones of those are good. But as long as some of those exist, you haven't earned the right to give up on the line yet, and that will help you to keep making good moves. So again, you could have taken with a knight or a bishop. But
which would you recommend in that case? My thought is,
I was calculating was this, because I thought if you take with the queen,
I was looking at
you this check, and then you have this check. And then they go here, and I didn't see a forced mate, so I was running out of lines because I wanted there to be like some way to keep delivering the goods, but I actually don't think there is. So funnily enough, as fun as that line is, like
at that point, maybe knight to
it's probably
A5.
not as good as taking the rook. Well, because here's the thing: like eventually, you're like, now you're just kind of playing like roll of the dice checks. It's not.
There's no strategy to it. There's not an end game to it. You're just kind of running around.
And by the way, there's even patterns for that. What is the pattern that sometimes tells us we're now aimless down a line? And it's not always this simple, because we're starting to get more advanced. But I always look for patterns in our thinking process to help. But there is one that typically holds true, which is, if the attack is, put it this way, if the moves you're playing are increasing threats for you and therefore increasing options, the attack like smells good. It's like a great white shark smelling blood in the water. Meaning, if you see that there's checks, captures, tempo moves, and the other criteria is, if as you're playing moves, for whatever reason, those moves are increasing your threats, they are increasing your options. The moment you start recognizing you're playing aimless checks or aimless things, that's often a sign that there's not quite enough beef. Like there's not quite enough juice in this squeeze. And again, that's a dangerous one, because there will be exceptions to the rules. There are weird, unique, awesome checkmates with brilliant games. But most of the time, the rule holds true that the moment you start considering, like a random check or like a random capture where like it's depleting. Like with every move, your options are becoming less. Often that's a sign that there may not be enough. So this particular one, probably best is just to like take the rook. What's funny is if you got here, you could even play this move, last second bailout, because what's funny is if they go here, you can take the rook and it defends the queen, so you still end up winning in exchange, as they call it. And then
there's another check right there. If I'm willing to give up the knight, I could take the bishop.
You want to exchange, that means you got a rook for a minor piece. And so the point, you're winning here no matter what. It is a fun line to see that somehow if you went for this, black actually might magically escape. That would be unlucky. But either way, I think we learned a lot, that the next time you see this F6 trick, so you're welcome, chat, full circle back to this, that anytime you see F6, you have to consider this with your full might. You're just doing yourself a disservice if you're not.
Okay.
And we learned, like I said, we learned a lot in this game. I was excited for this one because we learned about the copycat, what to do next time. We didn't do it. But even after the copycat, you learned that what you did was actually really good for the reasons I gave. It's okay to play for cheap tricks as long as it's part of your larger offensive triangle offense, we'll say, to use the analogy. As long as it's so what is the triangle offense of like almost every beginning of every chess game? Develop all your pieces, control the center, and get your king safe. Those are the things you do like in any chess game to be successful. Develop your pieces, control the center, get your freaking king safe. This is one move that fits into that scheme. So the fact that it's a cheap trick, good by me. Because as long as you next got back to doing good stuff, it would have been fine.
Okay.
They gave you a big opportunity. You didn't quite take it, but you still ended up doing well here. I love that you slid the queen over with check. You started getting aggressive and they started giving you pieces. But the truth is, they were still in trouble here, even after missing the chances you did, because your king is safe. Your pieces are better primed to deal with the center. And when you've done little things well, that's usually when big things happen. I would always tell my students that if people make blunders, that's because you put pressure on them. And you should be happy for it because, you know, often people don't make mistakes unless you're making threats. So this is good. You started converting. And the only other tactic I want to show you is right here, because you had a chance to play a double attack in this position that threatens a forced checkmate and an undefended piece in one move.
Really? Okay. Oh God, what did I miss?
Laughing at your chat. Hopefully you learn more than just PP on the PP here. Shout out to everybody watching us at chess.com. I just saw a bunch of viewers increase. So we got people tuning in at chess.com here, but we're a couple hours into this lesson now.
So if okay. The rook is in a position where if I queen to e4, I have a line on that.
Yep.
And then he's going to move that. He would move the rook to protect it, or match it with the bishop to threaten the queen back and put a blocker in between. At that point, queen, I could go to h7, take the pawn, and he's protected by the bishop. The king has to move out to f7.
And you got checkmate in one in that position.
And then I move I guess at that point, the bishop up to g6, because the pawn is covering e7, and he doesn't have a way to take the bishop. I did have checkmate.
Bro, dude, you just freaking calculated like a forced checkmate in your head. So queen e4, rook to b8, we'll say. Queen takes h7 check, only move is king f7, and then bishop to g6. Check Alina La Shlamba, La Bamba, booyah. Dude, you're a chess player, man. What are you doing playing these? What are you doing playing these first-person shooter games?
I used to play. Like I said, I played chess, and I played chess in middle school and high school. Middle school the most, and what I thought I was pretty good.
Dude, you're playing. You are very underrated at 570, and I admit I have not watched everyone's progress so far for those who are grinding, and I know Wolfie is working hard, but I'm legit putting you at a dark horse to win this thing. Not kidding.
So he ban him for sandbagging. Now my chat is asking you to ban me.
Now I'm gonna ban you for sandbagging because you are not. That is a 1500 level checkmate in 3 you solved just very quickly there. And yes, a little bit of prompting. It does go a long way when we have a bird on our shoulder saying, "Hey, look for it." But at the same time,
I will say the prompt of "you missed a thing. What did you miss?" Even that alone, and giving me the position, you're basically giving me a puzzle to solve. And so it does make it a lot easier to see it. The thing that I'm lacking, obviously, otherwise I would have done that, is quickly mid-game seeing a thing like that and going, okay, I can take advantage. And I think the concept that I'm missing is what you said at the beginning, is checks, tempo moves, and captures. Sorry, checks, captures, and tempo moves. That hierarchy, if I stick to that, it's going to find me in places like this a lot more often.
Oh, yeah. and it is in that order, just because obviously that's the most forcing to the least forcing. And so then the next, and we don't want to overdo it, because we've got some huge takeaways from tonight in terms of your openings. You're going to be consistent with it. You've got double king pawn games working for you. You know the patterns of, value tempo moves higher, develop quickly, get your king safe, etc. But in any position of checks, captures, tempo moves, the missing ingredient that we skip over, and the reason a combo, as they say, a combination, like in a fighting game, right? A combo is a 1, 2, 3, key at once.
Yep.
The reason it works is because fundamentally we recognized what was weak in our opponent's position. So what I would say is, so how do we learn to spot? How do we learn to snipe what is the target? Well, just by definition, anytime your opponent leaves a piece on pre is a chess term they use basically like in the open. It's like a French, like something is like running in the open.
Yep.
In the so you have, and so Karpovian chess, this is a fun thing, like the Russian school of chess, the Soviet school of chess would be like, they play so solid, they would never ever play a move like b6. Now, they would never be in this position if they're like a Russian master, but they would never play b6. I'm just going to do the Russian example, until they played like rook to b8 to get the rook off of the diagonal, so that then they could play this, so that then the rook is not under attack, and then they can put the bishop there, because now the rook defends the bishop who attacks here. And so they build on the position so that nothing is ever on pre. And
Gotcha. Okay.
That's an extreme way to bucket it, because I'm trying to make my point that high level players don't blunder as much, because they rarely leave pieces on pre, and when they do, you bet your ass they've calculated it. They know there's no tactic. And so what I'm getting to is, like, at the end of our hierarchy of where to give yourself the green light, checks, captures, tempo moves, don't stop your calculation until you've given yourself as many checks, captures, tempo moves in your head as you can. So that's the first tip. But then the next level of planning is, well, how do I know what to look for? How do I know when to look for checks, captures, tempo moves? Usually the advice is, don't try to pull a rabbit out of the hat until your opponent leaves something on pre. Because ultimately in the end, dude, it's also a game. It's a fast game. You only have 10 minutes aside.
Yep.
And sometimes people actually beat their head against the wall, convinced that they have to look for something now, when the best players in the world, like if their opponent didn't put something on pre, Magnus would just play knight c3 in 1 second. Like without even thinking, he would just develop that, because he just knows that getting the knight out is good. And then the next move, if their opponent didn't leave anything on pre, he'd play bishop a3 just to develop. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
so like grandmasters, if it'd be like, for you, it's so intuitive. You're like, because I like watch you like play, like you do certain things, like your brain is like checked out. Like you're not even paying attention to, like, you go up the map and you look for like a freaking house and you like loot it. Like you're not even thinking. And then the moment there's like a fight and there's like, oh shit, there's like people to kill.
Peak Fortnite, I was like automated. Changes. And it's the same thing with the players like Magnus who just know.
100%.
There's no very obvious thing to do. I should just actually the comparison I was already making in my head was RTS games. I played a shitload of StarCraft 2 and made it up to Masters as Zerg. I don't know if you ever play any RTS.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yep.
But like one of the things you were always doing is going back, checking hatcheries, looking at your larva, building a drone, that kind of stuff. Where it becomes like second nature. And especially as a Zerg player, it was just like automatic APM that you were just doing things that you were doing all the time, even if you weren't prepping to attack yet. It was like, okay, there's an obvious next step to be aggressive. I should probably develop my base, get upgrades, that kind of thing, and keep track. Yeah, so I'm trying to put this in a mindset that I can connect to, and not W King, big one, right?
I love it. I love it. No,
maintaining your base building, which is basically what this is, getting the knight, getting the bishop out so that I can castle if I need to on whatever side, that kind of thing. That makes a lot of sense. If there's not an obvious move that like an aggressive, a tempo move, I got to use the terms. If there's not a tempo move or anything else in the hierarchy that is clear, then it's always smart to develop the base.
Oh yeah. And what are the signals of when there might be something? The moment our opponent leaves something on pre. A
Okay.
piece that is on an open line that is not protected, because an open line can be a diagonal,
Yep.
it can be a file, it can be a rank.
So
the straight lines of the chessboard are the diagonals, the files, and the ranks. We use those terms in chess to describe diagonally, up and down, and side to side. And so if there's an undefended piece on one of the open lines, a diagonal, file, or rank, that's how tactics happen. That's how bad shit happens. And so the moment someone leaves something on pre where there's access to an open line, an open diagonal, file, or rank, is where tactics happen. And again, just to repeat the analogy in full circle, is I love the idea of like, build your base. You have to be constantly building your base while you wait for those opportunities. It's actually the same analogy as I said of like, it's okay to play for cheap tricks as long as you're building your base, right?
Yep.
Queen f3 was okay because it was part of building the base. And if they happen to blunder, then okay, you take what's in front of you, right? And so I think, and because it's a game, that the reason I wanted to go back to that, just to complete that analogy, is ultimately you will be playing in a tournament. And whenever you're playing chess, Pogchamps or not, time is part of the game. That's what makes it fun anyway, because we don't play for hours. And so half of what you're doing is managing the moments, man, in between the blunders. Half of what chess is at a high level, and so many people in chat, people need to get this, is like the reason the players are better is because they're building their base while they wait for something to be on pre. They're not beating their head up against a wall when there are no freaking tactics. They're playing knight c3 quickly, bishop a3 quickly. Then you know what they do? They play freaking rook b1. They go boom, boom, rook b1 and rook e1. I, as an international master, I'm not as good as Magnus, but I would play those moves before I even think about anything else, unless my opponent did something that triggered me. Like, and then strong players, they develop that like scent for blood in the water, right?
Gotcha.
But if there's nothing that made me smell blood, I would play all those moves. I might even play a move like h3. Why is that a move that I would play to build my base? Because a lot of strong players play moves that free their back rank for later blunders, right? So you don't get checkmated on the back rank.
Yep.
So like a strong freaking player, dude, would play like all 5 of those moves in 5 seconds, because look at your clock, I have 5:58. I would do that instantly while my opponents are spending too much time trying to pull rabbits out of hats that don't exist. There's nothing on pre, and or making blunders and putting their own shit on pre in the process that I then capitalize on. And if you keep that mindset as a chess player, along with ranking, checks, captures, tempo moves in your blood smelling abilities, those are always on the edge of your seat in terms of what you're looking for, while you wait for somebody to basically put something on pre, and then you're just playing fast. And like, honestly, dude, we just solved freaking chess tonight. By the way, one more thing to say for your pattern recognition. Do you ever do puzzles or anything?
I don't, but I'm thinking about doing, because what you gave me right there a second ago for that's I think gonna help a lot.
You should. So one fun, because this is easy to do on your phone too. That's why I'm telling you, because that way, while you're getting ready for Pog and you're like, hey, I want to do something fast, but I don't want to be excruciatingly, like, I'm not going to grind hours of lessons because you're busy and you're a dad and you got, you know, stuff to stream. But go to on the main menu, go under puzzles real quick and just click Puzzle Rush, because it's the second option under puzzles.
Okay.
It might mess up your stream. Sorry for chat to do that, because it's very easy on your phone. But Puzzle Rush is a blast. It like, you click the 3-minute mode, and it just gives you tactics for 3 minutes, and you try to break your own record. So you might only get 10 in the first 3 minutes, and then now you're trying to get 11.
Okay.
I'm not just bragging about our feature, but it kind of gamifies pattern recognition, because if you can do this on your phone or like on your stream even, what it does is it takes a lot of the things I'm saying from a mindset to practice. Now we take it to practice, where every position, if you were to do 3 minutes of Puzzle Rush right now, and you just approach every position as checks, captures, tempo moves, you will probably solve way more puzzles and have more fun than you ever thought, because now you're getting that. So right here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's going to be fun to watch. So you're black. Okay, checks, captures. They just gave you an easy one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so every position, though, it's going to be checks, captures, tempo moves. So as you go through the board, look for your checks first. If there's no good checks, you move on to captures. And you're just going to keep doing this.
Is it always going to be in 1?
No, it'll get harder as it goes, but it ramps up with you to help you improve as you go.
I'm white now.
You're already crushing it.
That's there. That I can't.
Yeah, this is a fun thing. I don't know if we want to do another lesson, what our time is, but if this is our only lesson and this is the last time you and I ever speak, Dr. Lupo.
Oh, it's not the last. I want you to know ahead of time that I'm already considering messaging you after this to see what evenings you're available every night until the tournament.
Let's do it, man. This will be fun.
Why is this one not clicking for me? Oh, okay, now I see it. I was like, what?
I can't see the. There you go. Oh, nice. Yeah. So on your phone, you'll see it's easy to do on your phone. I actually I like doing Puzzle Rush on my phone even better than the web, just because the touch screen is easy and it's good practice when you're in between stuff. But you can even, like, while you're loading up for a game, do a 3-minute Puzzle Rush. And this is not that you can't do the other ones. There's also 5-minute. There's also unlimited. But the reason I recommend 3-minute is because I just wanted to really highlight the big three: checks, captures, tempo moves, and how that improves your pattern recognition. Look at you.
This is very good. We move there. Ooh.
It would be a good thing in the Tarkov queue. Is Tarkov queue take longer than Fortnite queue?
It takes a million fucking years, dude.
Why is that? Just not as many.
It's just the design of the game, the way that they have to line up everybody connecting to a server to actually be able to play. It takes quite a bit. Oh, really? Okay.
So there was a better one. There was checkmate there.
Oh, I must have just I missed it.
Which is a good lesson, because even though there was a capture, there was also a check, and so always go through the orders of consider the checks first. Exactly. If you consider the checks first, then on that, and by the way, when you're done, I'll show you. It's really easy to go back and look at what you got wrong, which will help. Very nice. You did a check. Now you've got a great capture in this one. Okay, so you got 11. So in this last one here, you would have just wanted to play Bishop takes knight.
That's what I was thinking about doing. Yeah, I just hesitated.
It's in the other one. If you can go back to that puzzle, I think you can click on.
Yep.
Instead of taking with the rook, you had queen takes f2 checkmate. But yeah, right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is kind of a tricky one, because it's kind of like, oh, I should just take back the knight, so they kind of trick you. But so you got 11 in 3 minutes, so now you have a goal to try to get 12.
I don't know why this one didn't click in my head. This is obvious now looking at it, like after the fact. Yeah, that's okay.
No, but it's good.
Cool. Okay.
Whoever just like Mike is, I feel like they're trolling me because they know I'm a Suns fan, and the Suns are the worst team in the NBA. Like, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it. I know. Anyway, man, I think I'm gonna wrap up here. I gotta help the wifey get ready for Easter.
It's almost my time to be done anyway. So okay. I will message you. So my plan is play a bunch. I'll probably sit and do the puzzles in the morning when I wake up. I'm hoping that this turn. Do you know the time of day that these games are gonna happen?
Let's chat on Discord tomorrow. Sarah's a little more on top of the schedule than I am. But we've scheduled them, I think, pretty conveniently for you guys, although we are navigating global time zones. There's a couple of players in the EU for sure. Okay. So
I only ask because I know me personally, my brain just operates better in the morning and during the day. I'm actually surprised I'm playing the way that I am tonight. Because I'm having trouble I have raging ADD, Danny. So the fact that I was able to do this tonight, I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Not gonna lie, chat will attest to that. Cool.
Well, dude, you actually played phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
And I wasn't joking about the sandbagging jokes. I guess I was joking, but seriously,
please don't ban me.
I'm actually. Again, don't quote me. Sarah will give you the schedule 100%, but I'm confident we scheduled all of these things in the middle of the day for people for these reasons. It also allows us to have people like you in the U.S. maybe go up against, NX Tag, the big French YouTuber who I know, and he's in France, right? So I'm almost positive it's a middle of the day event, so you'll be happy there.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, dude, ping me. This is actually a good week because I was in Paris all last week, and then I'm going to Germany for a week to start May. But this week I am like here, so we can grind this thing and make you a Pog champion, bro.
Okay, dude, that's fucking sick. I thank you very much for your time, man.
This is fun. And all right, so we'll just chat on Discord, and then cool. I could probably do somewhere around this time every night for the next several days to get ready for the event. And yeah, puzzles is a great way to bring this thing to a close, dude. So
perfect. Cool. Thank you so much, chat. Danny. I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Have a good night. I'll see you.
See you, bud.
Bye.
Oh man. Chad, if you could please, a big thank you to Danny. If you'll see his account is in chat, Daniel Wrench. Fuck, dude. My brain. I can tell us. I'm gonna probably watch back through the stream like 10 times, because there's a lot of information in there that I'm gonna need to redigest and redigest and redigest. There's a lot of stuff to soak in. Which I think is good. I think I'd rather that than it be either a walk in the park or too difficult, right? He explained things really, really well. Being able to make do some equating to gaming references that I already know was wildly helpful. Also, seeing people in chat get pissed off at me being good at another thing is really funny to me. Anyway, if you are on chess.com watching, hey, my name is DrLupo. I'm playing in the Pogchamps tourney coming up. I think it's on the 29th, which is like right. I think it's around the corner, which is crazy. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we do, man. Okay. Let's see who's streaming right now that we want to send you guys to. Who do you like? We like Batty, right? We like Batty. We'll send you to Batty. All right. There you go. If you don't know Batty, head on over. Batty's super dope. He's playing Target right now. I am off tomorrow. By the way, Kimmy and everybody, if I got a host in the middle of that, thank you guys. Any new or re-ups of memberships, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I was very locked in. All right, dude, I followed. Give me that damn alpha code. Sorry, bud. I could boot up Marathon again so you can look at the splash screen if you want to. Just to tease you about it. My hair is fucking being weird tonight. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know. Where are you fucking going, hair? Anyway. All right. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go over to Batty. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you Monday morning for some Tarky Warky, okay? Peace out.
And lines, I had to keep on reaching up, cause it was my time to tear down the kingdom, call out the liars. Got a jail on my heart from the pessimist, got those nails in my mouth for impressionists. Spent too much money on a therapist, couldn't fix me, I accepted it.